photos and videos with a 15-year-old student. But months after her arrest, she's now facing another legal hurdle, as the student she's accused of abusing has filed a lawsuit against her.
So when I saw that he was suing her, one of the first thoughts I had was, this is a brave kid.
Last April, Emma Delaney Hancock was charged with 3 counts of soliciting to a minor and 2 counts of lewd or indecent acts with a child under 16. But the case would actually begin in October of 2022, when Hancock was a substitute teacher at Wellston Public School in Oklahoma. According to court records, Hancock began texting the 15-year-old boy in October of that year. The texting first started with Hancock asking the teen to send a copy of his school assignment. However, several weeks later, the former substitute reacted to a shirtless photo of the teen sent on Snapchat. After seeing the photo, Hancock replied, "Are we sending half-naked pictures now?" The 15-year-old replied, "I don't know, are we?" Then Hancock answered, "Are you trying to get me to lose my job?" According to previous court documents, Hancock and the 15-year-old began swapping nude photos and sexually explicit videos before engaging in 2 separate physical encounters. The boy reportedly visited the classroom Hancock was teaching in during her lunch break, where they allegedly kissed inside the classroom closets, and the teacher allegedly groped the teen during at least one meeting.
I would say meets the profile for a pedophile, a perpetrator. Oftentimes when adults are taking advantage of children, they know what they're doing is wrong, but they don't really care. There's this pathology or their illness inside of their brain where they're seeking attention from children. Like you said, even in cases where she has a husband.
Shari Botwin is a trauma therapist and the author of Stolen Childhoods, Thriving After Abuse. She says most victims don't report abuse for years and applauds the teen's courageousness for suing his abuser.
Well, first of all, most victims don't even tell their therapists or their parents or their friends when something like this happens. You know, I've been working as a therapist for 28 years, and sometimes it takes clients years of working in therapy with me before they'll talk to me. There was a woman I was working with who is in her late 20s now, and she actually just told me about having been abused by her teacher when she was 27 years old. So when I saw that he was suing her, one of the first thoughts I had was, this is a brave kid. This is a kid who maybe doesn't fully understand still the impact of what happened to him, but to be able to come forward and speak, especially in cases like this where it's really hard to prove that a crime has taken place, I think it's really important. And I think we are starting as a society to believe survivors, and I think we're also talking more about the fact that there are people in this world who can do really sick and crazy things. He's a young boy. He's not like a little tiny kid, but he's still a kid. And when the abuse happened, I was also thinking about this. He was at the age then where he was probably so confused about what this teacher was doing. And when I went and read through the affidavit, the complaint, I thought about that. I thought she even found ways to place blame on him. Are you trying to get me in trouble? That statement. I thought, you know what, even during the abuse, subtly she's saying to him, you're the reason, you're the cause of what's happening.
Hancock was arrested in April of last year by the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations. The state agency took over the case due to the fact that she is the wife of the Wellston police chief and the mayor's daughter. She pleaded not guilty to the charges and has since been released on a $50,000 bond. Fast forward to this year, the new civil lawsuit filed against Hancock in late June reveals more disturbing details. According to the suit, the 15-year-old's father was contacted by the Wellston Public Schools principal in early November of 2022, when the principal alerted the teen's father that a teacher was engaging in an inappropriate relationship with the 15-year-old, and the principal identified Hancock as the teacher involved. The suit states Wellston Public School installed video surveillance cameras in the school's hallways and showed the teen's father a video from the security cameras. The video allegedly showed Hancock and the teen alone in a classroom for about 45 minutes. After the teen's father met with the principal, the teen confirmed that he was having a relationship with his teacher. According to the suit, the boy's father asked him to describe exactly what he meant by the word relationship, and the boy gave examples by explaining the ways Hancock sexually molested him while they were alone together in the classroom. Botwin explains while the teen may have described it as a relationship, in reality, an adult took advantage of the boy.
I mean, my thought is these are teenagers who, their brains aren't fully developed, and it makes me really sad because, again, sometimes teenagers, we look at them and we think, well, they know what they're doing, or they're pretty much grown up, but they're not. 15-year-old boys, this was a very impressionable boy. We don't know, but what I think is that the damage that is caused to a teenager, especially when it has to do with their sexuality, because he's at the age now where he's just starting to really begin to explore and understand his body and that he has sexual feelings. I think one of the worst parts about this for him and any a teenager who's abused is what it does is when he wants to move forward in his life and he's dating and he's exploring his sexuality, he's going to then realize, oh, what the teacher was doing was really wrong. That's when he's going to realize he's going to know the difference between a consensual, appropriate boundary relationship versus a situation where an adult literally took advantage of his physical body and his emotional well-being.
The suit confirms the contact between Hancock and the 15-year-old began with text messages over a school assignment. Then they escalated when the teen posted photos of himself shirtless on Snapchat. When Hancock responded with the "Are we sending half-naked pictures now?" and Hancock later responded, "Are you trying to get me to lose my job?" the suit references that exchange as Hancock knowing the communication was inappropriate.
So in this particular case, it's very obvious when I read through the complaint that she is well aware of what she's doing and that it is wrong, but she's manipulating. She's using the innocence of a child because, again, he's 15. He's a child, and she's playing on that to try and get him to give her what she wants. And I think he was probably so confused. When I work with teenagers who were abused, they'll say things to me like, part of me knew something was really wrong, but I didn't know what to do. I felt trapped. I felt torn. I feel responsible to meet the need of this particular person because this is a person in a position of power. So it's a very complicated situation, and he's going to need a lot of help to really work through this.
The suit then goes on to state more shocking details. According to the filing, from there, Hancock sent photos of herself naked and from her bathtub on Snapchat. She allegedly sent the 15-year-old a picture of herself with a blanket covering her breast, then sent another photo showing her breast when asked to move the blanket. Around October 25th of 2022, the suit says Hancock sent a fully nude photo of herself to the teen, and the teen sent a nude photo of himself back to her. And throughout that week, the two sent more nude photos to one another, as well as other sex-related videos on Snapchat. On October 26th of 2022, when Hancock and the teen were alone together in the classroom for nearly an hour, she allegedly arranged the meetup by messaging another student on Snapchat and telling the student to inform the teen boy to go to her room at lunchtime because she had something for him, and even instructed the other student to keep it quiet. It was there Hancock and the teen boy allegedly engaged in various sex acts, which according to the suit, she physically touched and sexually molested the teen who was unable to give consent. Then more troubling details. Around October 30th of 2022, Hancock was assigned to sub for another class, and during the lunch break, she allowed the 15-year-old to use her vape pen, then suggested they make out, and went to a secluded area of the classroom where Hancock allegedly aggressively kissed the boy and sexually molested him, then proceeded to gift the teen with the vape pen for himself, which is illegal for any persons under 21 in Oklahoma. The suit then adds another instance when around November 3rd of 2022, Hancock was assigned to substitute again. She let the teen use her vape pen again and later allegedly kissed the student, putting her tongue in his mouth, then rubbed his private areas while having the boy grope her butt. The filing states the teen told another student friend about the sexual relationship with Hancock, and that friend confronted her asking if it was true. And while at first denied it, she then admitted to the other teen it was true. And Hancock reportedly expressed she wasn't concerned because they weren't going to get caught.
I have two thoughts. My first thought is this a woman that wants to get caught? Because there are perpetrators out there who on some level know what they're doing is wrong, but they can't stop themselves. So they put themselves in positions where they could get caught. That's one perspective. The other perspective is, or is this woman so sociopathic in the sense that she has no ability to put herself in the shoes of this young boy, or just doesn't care, thinks to herself, it doesn't matter, I'm here in a role of authority, I can do what I want. So without ever having spoken to her, I'm really curious. The fact that she's pleading not guilty makes me think this is a woman who's very, very sick and very manipulative, and probably he is not the first child that she has exploited or abused. She sounds like in some ways she knew how to do it in a way where maybe she wouldn't get caught, but she did get caught.
Since the abuse, the teen's life has taken a drastic turn, according to the suit. The teen has since suffered from mental anguish and withdrawal from his daily life. The boy's grades have dropped significantly, and his desire to participate in school or extracurricular activities has drastically reduced, as he was once an outgoing teenager. According to the filing, the teen also will need to undergo in-depth psychological examinations to assess the long-term damage.
I think it speaks for itself when you say, he's having trouble socially, academically. I can imagine that he's having some type of post-traumatic stress disorder, whether it's reliving, remembering, reflecting, questioning himself. I think that the trauma that comes from this is it takes away his right to his innocence, to be able to figure out and experience his sexuality in a way that feels safe and consensual. So I think while I feel hope for him, especially in the fact that he has come forward and he didn't wait until some of my clients, he didn't wait till he was 30 years old to say something, he's going to have, he's going to be on a healing journey for quite some time, and he's going to have to go back and really sit and talk with who's ever helping him about the idea that he is not the cause of what happened to him. He is not responsible for what happened to him. He has done nothing wrong by speaking. He does not deserve to be punished or shamed for something that he really had, no control over. So he's got a journey ahead of him. But I think in these type of cases, I feel a lot of hope because he's 15 or 16 years old. So he has years of his life and hopefully many years in his adulthood where he will really be able to reclaim the loss of his innocence and be able to have appropriate and safe sexual relationships in his life when he's ready.
Hancock has since responded to the suit and continues to deny the allegations against her. In her response, she claims the judge assigned to both her civil and criminal cases should end up dismissing the suit on several grounds, including lack of subject matter jurisdiction and failure to state claim, as she maintains she committed no wrongful or actionable conduct. Then, toward the end of the answer to the civil suit against her, Hancock's lawyer asked the judge to deny the plaintiff's petition and award Hancock attorney fees and costs for having to defend herself against this action. Botwin says she's not surprised Hancock filed that type of response, and it could be a way for her to negate responsibility for her alleged actions.
I unfortunately see this all the time with people who are trying to come out of abusive relationships. There's often countersuits. The abuser will say that the victim was the one that was abusive. They do anything they can to get let off the hook. And again, if she were able to take responsibility for what happened, she probably wouldn't have done it in the first place. So It's enraging and it's very upsetting to see that she's doing this, but it's to be expected, unfortunately. It's part of her pathology. She's thinking she's been done wrong because she doesn't want to accept any responsibility, maybe through a trial, and depending on what the jury finds, maybe she will on some level realize that she really has caused a lot of harm. Unfortunately, this is a woman who's going to need decades of rehabilitation and therapists to really get in her face and help her understand that she is responsible and that she should be paying for the harm that she's caused to somebody. So right now she's going to try to get let off the hook. I don't know in this particular case if that's how the story will end. I'm certainly hoping not.
As Hancock still faces the criminal charges against her, plus the civil lawsuit filed against her, Botwin hopes the victim in this case gets justice.
I think my final thoughts are I'm so glad that we're in a place and time where we're starting to really cover these types of stories. These are really important cases, and oftentimes people don't want to talk about like an adult abusing a child. How could a teacher do that to a child? But the reality is this is a problem that it has been going on for generations. So the more we can really talk about these type of cases, the more victims will start coming forward with their own story. So I always like to see the hope in something that's really upsetting. And I don't know who this young boy is, but I think he's really brave. And I hope that justice is served. And I hope that we take one less perpetrator and get one more perpetrator really just off the streets.
According to online court records, the criminal case against Emma Delaney Hancock is still ongoing. And at this time, the case is set to go on trial on October 21st of this year. Reporting for Law and Crime,